The single most important interview question you will be asked at any interview is, why do you want to work here? And the reason I say that is because by the time you get to the interview, you are qualified. But often the differentiator between the candidate who gets an offer and the candidate who doesn't get an offer is passion. And it's alignment with the company, the organization, and the way the hiring manager perceives that. And that is no different at JP Chase. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to answer the specific interview question for JP Chase. Why do you want to work here? Now, this is video 3 of a 5-part series. So if this is the first video you were seeing out of the How to Get a Job with the JP Chase video series, go watch the first videos. And at the very end of this video, I will actually tee up the next one right here on screen so you can seamlessly go through all the way to the end of the series. By watching this video series, you will absolutely give yourself an unfair advantage over your competition, which is the goal of this series. So right, let's get started. Now, first things first, when you answer this interview question, why do you want to work for JP Chase? Or any why do you want to work here interview question, you want to use the 50-50 rule. Now, the 50-50 rule basically states the first 50% of your answer, well, that needs to be about the organization. Why is the organization attractive to you? What is compelling to you about this organization? What is pulling you towards this organization, okay? And this could be different depending on who you are. Now, the second 50%, that needs to be about why the position you are applying for right now is a good fit for you. Why are you uniquely qualified or set up to succeed in this role? And if you can do both of those things, you're going to nail this interview question. Now, I'm going to give you 4 different examples right now, and I want you to listen to all 4. That way you can choose which one is best for you. You want to make sure that it resonates with you and it comes off as authentic, because you can really tell that in the interview. Okay, let's go to the first one. Now, the first answer is the veteran hiring answer. Now, Chase has actually done, or JP Chase, has done a great job at this. Since 2011, they've actually hired 18,000 servicemen and women. That is huge. And if you personally have a military background, or you have family in the military, or you just support our military, this is an easy one to say, hey, here's one of the reasons why I'm attracted to your organization. So I'm going to do a run through and tell you how this might sound if you are answering this interview question. So I'm going to pretend to be a person answering it right now. All right, Ben, why are you interested in working for JP Chase? Well, that's a great question. There's a lot of reasons why I'm interested in working for JP Chase. But while I was doing my research for this interview, one of the things that really stuck out to me was JP Chase's commitment to our veterans. I have family in the military. I actually grew up on a military base. So seeing that JP Chase has hired 18,000 veterans since 2011 is amazing. And I would feel honored to align myself with an organization that does that kind of thing for our veterans. Additionally, this role is a perfect fit for me. For the last 10 years, I've actually been, and then I'd go on to explain why I'm a good fit. But you see what I did there are a few things. I expressed the reason. There's a lot of reasons why I'd be willing to, be interested in working for JP Chase, specifically because of veteran hiring. I aligned it to myself, to who I am. I made the why clear. I also mentioned that there, while I was doing my research for this interview, there's not a single hiring manager, HR person, or recruiter out there who doesn't love a well-researched candidate. And then at the very end, I brought it home by saying, and I'm qualified for this role because of blank. So that's the first answer. Let's go to the next. Now, the next answer is the neighborhood development answer. And this is just basically talking about all the work that JP Chase is putting into creating affordable living for minorities. So I'll put some information right here on the screen, but JP Chase is actually doing like a ton. Like, they are investing a ton. They're helping reduce mortgages for minorities. They are also helping build up neighborhoods, created affordable living, etc. They're doing a ton. And if you're passionate about this, and quite frankly, anybody can be passionate about helping people, right? And helping people who didn't have the head start that some other people have had. I mean, this is an easy one to share. So my advice, they've got articles on this, they've got videos on this. You can go read it, find out a specific stat that stands out to you, but then you answer it like the other one. So you could say, hey, why are you interested in working at JP Chase? Well, there are a lot of reasons why I'd want to work for JP Chase, but one of the things that I found to be really inspiring on your website is they're trying to create affordable housing for people of color. And all the different initiatives that JP Chase has put through are great. And I think it's really needed. And I saw everything about refinancing mortgages and creating affordable housing. And I love to see a large organization that's been around as long as JP Chase doing things for the betterment of society and actually helping people and doing positive things with their profits. And that really resonates with me. So I would be honored to align myself with an organization that does that type of good in the world. Additionally, I also have a lot of experience doing, and then I'd go on to share why I was a good fit. So find a way to say this in a way that feels comfortable for you and feels natural for you, but I think it's a great answer. Now, this answer is the upskilling community's answer. So JP Morgan Chase estimates that by the year 2030, like 35% of the jobs that exist today might no longer exist. So it's going to be critical to upskill people so that there are jobs for people in the future. So one of the things you could do is incorporate that into your answer. So when they say, hey, why are you interested in working at JP Morgan Chase? You can say, well, there's a lot of reasons why I'm interested in working for JP Morgan Chase. But one of the things I found really interesting while I was doing my research for this opportunity was I was on your website. And I saw on your website that you predict, and by you I mean JP Morgan Chase, you predict that by 2030, about 35% of the jobs that exist today won't. And you have a huge initiative in upskilling communities, especially at-risk communities, to help equip them for the jobs of the future. And I think that's really interesting. And I think it's great to be that strategic and to be using your resources to help people and upskill people so that they have skills that are viable in the future. I'm really passionate about making sure that we can help those who are less fortunate. So to see JP Morgan Chase put its resources where its mouth is and do that kind of thing, I think it's awesome. Additionally, I've been working in this industry for blank and I've accomplished blank, and it makes me a good fit because of blank. So there you go. Another great answer. The next answer is the environment answer. And the environment one is great. If you're passionate about the environment, there's a lot JP Morgan Chase is doing that you can, incorporate into your answer. But one of the things they're doing is they're facilitating $2.5 trillion with a T into climate solution type work. So if you're passionate about the environment, this is an easy one. Hey, why are you interested in working at JP Morgan Chase? Well, there's a lot of reasons why being a JP Morgan Chase employee is attractive to me. But one of the things that I'm really passionate about is the environment, sustainability, and action against climate change. And one of the things I saw on the website while I was preparing for this interview is just how much resources JP Morgan Chase is putting forth to help with climate change, including facilitating $2.5 trillion in funds, and a whole host of other things that I was reading and I was really inspired by. Additionally, I feel like I'm a good fit for this role because over my career, I've taken on progressive development and blah, 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 blah. And then you go on to say why you're a good fit for the role. But that's another one you can use. Finding a really powerful why to tie yourself with the organization is going to make the hiring manager look at you as a candidate and go, I think they really want this role, which every hiring manager wants to feel. Now, another thing that's really important to hiring managers is that at the end of your interview, you have great questions to ask them. Look, at the end of just about every interview, the person who's interviewing you is going to say, do you have any questions for me? And candidates who don't get the job, they don't have questions. But great Quint, another thing that's really important to hiring managers is at the end of the interview, you have great questions. Now, candidates who are not great, they may not have questions or they may have bad questions. But really great candidates, they're going to have great questions to ask the hiring manager. So I made this video here. This video here is going to give you some really powerful questions that are going to help you gain some really great information, but also help you stand out as an amazing candidate. So I'm done here, but I'll see you over there.